Peace. This is Ali coming at you on behalf of SAliMyers.com. Alright fam, it's that time of year. We're rolling into a new year, 2016. We only have a couple days left in 2015. So like last year, I'm going to do this video just to give you a temperature of what the general energy will be for 2016. And the science I'm going to use is numerology, and specific Tehuti NuMe, which is short for Tehuti Numerology. Now, for those that follow my work, you've heard me mention Tehuti NuMe. If you have the book Deity Linkage Manual, you've seen that the system used to help you find deities was Tehuti NuMe. Now, the difference between Tehuti NuMe or Tehuti Numerology and regular numerology is Tehuti NuMe relies heavily on the law of correspondence. One of the 7 universal laws is the law of correspondence, and the universal laws was told to us by the god Tehuti, or taught. And with the law of correspondence, it shows that everything has a direct correspondence and everything ties together. And if you look at all the ancient sciences, all the divination sciences, they all have some sort of correspondence. With numerology, there's been a system of correspondence, like each number has a correspondence, but there hasn't been a system that takes that correspondence and directly applies it to everyday life. Simply put, it's a practical way of using numbers. So with 2016, I'm going to break down the different numbers, show you the correspondences, and then we'll put it all together for you. Now, the few main things of 2016 is 2016 is a 9 universal year. When you add it up, 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 6 equals 9. So it's a 9 universal year. The general theme for 2016 is giving back, reflection, and action. Giving back in form of charity, philanthropy, reflection, self-evaluation, and also action. So 2016 obviously has 4 numbers that make up the 9. When we do numerology, most people reduce it down to a single digit or leave it as a master number if it's 11, 22, or 33. Most people familiar with numbers are trained to do that. But the numbers that you have before you reduce it is also significant. So the difference between 2016, a 9 year, and 2007, also a 9 year, is 2007 has the numbers 2 and 7 and 2 zeros. 2016 has a 2, 0, 1, and a 6. So it's going to be a different energy of the 9. The general energy is 9, but the components that make up the 9 is different. So let me briefly go through the 2016 that makes up the 9, and we can put everything all together. First off, the first number is kind of what sets the tone. If you notice, ever since we got into the year 2000, there's been a lot more complementary energy, because 2 is a feminine energy, but it's also a complementary energy. It takes 2 to tango. 1, you're by yourself. 2, you have a partner, so that's a complement. So when 2000s began, it went from that masculine, selfish, egotistical, if you would, 1 energy. All the 1900s began with the 1. 2000 begins with the 2, so it sets the tone for group thinking, cooperative economics, relationships, and stuff like that. So the 2 gives it balance, and it gives a feminine energy to it. The 0 is a number, but it isn't a number. When you look at 0, 0 is a placeholder. In numerology, specifically Tehuti NuMe, 0 represents the spirit because it's unseen. When you look at the numbers, 1 is the first number, but what comes before 1? You can put a 0 before any number and it doesn't change the value. Everything comes out of 0, so 0 is very spiritual. Anytime you have a 0 in a number sequence, it adds a heightened level of spirituality to it. The next number is 1. 2016, the third number is 1. 1, like I said before, is a very independent number. It's a very masculine number. It's a very leadership number. It's a very independent, and it's a very go-getter number. So when you add that with the 2016, it gives it an extra added fuel, if you would, a fire of energy. And the last number in 2016 is a 6. 6 is a responsible number, it's a nurturing number, and it's a number of service. So it's funny that we're in a 9-year. 9 deals with giving back, philanthropy, humanitarianism, and the last number in 2016 also is a very service and giving energy. So when you look at 2016, you have a lot of what we call feminine numbers. Any even number is feminine. 2 and a 6 are feminine. 0 is neutral. So you have 2 feminine numbers in addition to the 1, which is a masculine number. So 9 in general is a very masculine energy. It's ruled by Mars, and we'll get into the correspondences here in a second. But 9 in general is a very masculine number. So when you look at 2016, when they're having that extra energy of spirituality being a 0, it has the 2 feminine numbers, 2 and 6 in there. It's going to soften the 9. Now, for instance, we have all masculine numbers that compose and made up the 9, then that would give it extra masculinity, extra fire, and extra energy in that regard. But since we have those softer numbers in there, it kind of calms the energy down. So let's go through the different correspondences, and we can put everything together, because we could spend like hours on this video, and I don't want to do that. But 2016, the universal year being 9, it has direct correspondences. Remember I said every number has different correspondences. So the correspondences for 9, the 1 corresponds the planet. The planet of Mars corresponds to the planet 9. When you look at the planet Mars, Mars is fiery, it's energetic, it's athletic, and it's very active. So that's one of the correspondences. Mars sign that it corresponds to is Aries. When you look at Aries, Aries is an energy as similar to Mars as go-getter energy. It can be very egotistical, it can be independent, and it's also fiery. So the Mars, the Aries, another correspondence to the 9 is the tarot card, the Hermit. When you look at the Hermit, and this is a key for studying tarot or any kind of symbolism, when you look at the Hermit, he's by himself. And I did a video a couple weeks back. I uploaded a video talking about the 2016 numerology, and specifically talking about the tarot card, the Hermit. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check that out. But the Hermit represents someone who has made it, and he's looking back and reflecting on what he's done. The Hermit is also comfortable being by himself, because he knows that to grow spiritually, you have to tune out external things. So the Hermit is a card that corresponds with the number 9. The deity that I would say that corresponds greatly with the 9 energy is the god Shango, the Orisha Shango. When you look at Shango, Shango is connected to that fire energy. Remember, 9 deals with fire. That's the elemental correspondence for 9 is fire. Shango is an elemental correspondence of fire also. So, and I got that number from Deity Linkage Manual. So if you want to know all the deities under number 9, make sure to check that out. So when you put everything together, remember what I said, that we're dealing with a time of reflection, of giving back, and also being active. When I ran through the correspondences, you heard that played out in the various different correspondences. So what you can focus on next year is is really looking back on your life and putting everything in its proper place. So many times, especially when I deal with people on one-on-one consultations, a lot of things come up from the past, things we've suppressed. It could have been like you didn't grow up with a father, and you kind of suppressed that, and you didn't have that dominant male figure with you, and you kind of forgot about it. But your mind doesn't forget about it, it puts it in the subconscious. So it's important to do a self-inventory and a self-reflection. Go through, look at all the different things that you had in your life, and really look at it and evaluate it and see what you can learn from it. It's also a time to give back. When you look at the number 9, there is no greater single-digit number besides 9. There's no number higher than 9. So 9 is forced to give back. That's why 9 is considered a humanitarian number, a charity number. So find ways to give back. This could be money, This could be time, or this can be resources. Everybody has something that they can pay it forward or give back. The last thing is activity. With 9 being the fire energy, connected to Mars, connected to Aries, it's about active. It's about activity. It's about doing something. So after you reflect, after you give back, make sure to be active in something, because 9 represents the ending, and for something to end, you have to have something begin. So end procrastination, end excuses, and end the rut of negative thinking, and proceed into 2016 with a positive mindset and being very active, not only on your spiritual path, but life in general. So this has been Ali. If you want to find out more information about myself and what we do, be sure to visit my website, salimyers.com. If you're interested in learning numerology from myself, make sure to click on Work With Me and check out the Tehuti Numerology course. It starts in 1 week. We have a couple slots left, but I will do the course again probably in a couple months. So until next time, peace.